Okay, you can hear me now. This is a random reaction. I'm gonna start doing these more. Um, this is a video of actually one of my. I'm a fan of Destiny. Um, hold on. Let's. Uh, let's get to my channel real quick. Wait, what? It is. Um. Yes, I'm live. See. Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't want feedback to become a problem because I'll get echoing and eventually a high pitched squeal that is vomit inducing. Trust me, you don't want that. Okay. Find up my action. It's one of Destiny's videos. I need to. I have to. Set this. Oh, what else? You can hear me, you can hear. Yeah. I think you can. I can even put myself in here. Actually, okay, I will, but as it's going. Well, I need to resize it as it's going because kind of need to make it small. Here we go. Okay. I'll move it and resize it as needed. I might settle on. I'll eventually settle on a spot, but whatever. Okay, let's start.
Issue.
No, that's not true.
It is.
The actual population polling.
Well, hold on. Population. Okay, this is my. Yeah, this is my. This is my biggest pet peeve.
Come in front of the camera.
Wait.
You, or I guess, what does it say on the sign that I'm supposed to be arguing for again?
Progressive policies too often politically infeasible.
Oh, damn. True. Absolutely true. What a base statement.
I think it's a statement with that statement has a framing behind it, right? Saying that therefore we shouldn't try to aim for those things. Yeah, it sucks that the system as it is built such that it makes these things really hard, makes the movement necessary to get these kind of things done difficult.
Mostly the problem is bureaucracy. Red tape. It's what they call red tape. All the paperwork that has to be done. Holy shit. If you're disabled and ever filed with Social Security. My mom has so many fucking files on me that I don't even know. It's crazy. It's a full goddamn file cabinet just on me. On my stuff. Tests and shit. It's crazy. Whatever. I don't want to rant.
Difficult. That sucks. It's also the world we live in. But that doesn't mean we can sit idly by and ignore the major problems of our day, like climate change, like inequality.
I think it's okay to recognize that different players have different roles in our system. So activists should be activisming, politicians should be politicianing, and I guess people on Twitter should be tweeting. But I think the only thing that I get frustrated about sometimes is when, if you are a very far left person or a very far right person, you're pushing for a certain political ideology. Your goal is to push, but when politicians fail you, or when they don't get that far, saying that, like, starting to invent conspiracies is kind of what's irritating to me. So, for instance, when you have people saying things like Bernie was like the whole primary system was rigged against him, and he was voters were disenfranchised in their vote for him, or when like Biden is breaking promises and the Democrats are weak and they won't do anything. Like, none of these statements are really true. We can argue that the Democratic Party isn't as far left as some people would like it to be, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, you have to go by what voters want, and voters, I don't think, are where progressives want them to be.
I think it's okay to criticize the system
Destiny's right here, by the way. I just gotta.
by which that process happens, right? Like the primary process, I think there's a lot of true things in there, right? I don't think necessarily you could say that, and I'm sure this world is huge. A lot of people will go way too far with a lot of things. In a country of millions of people, you'll find idiots on Twitter who will say anything. But I think the general feeling.
The trolls. The drama for drama. Fucking nerds. It's. The walls. I'm a nerd, so yeah. I don't have a word for them. Do you have a word for them? Put it in the comment section.
Among activists and among like people who are a little farther left than Biden, that this system is built not to represent our opinions, but to keep the institutions of money and power that are already in place. Sure, I guess the argument here is that people don't want these things, therefore they're not good. And the reason people don't want these things is because we have institutions of media, of just generally a system built around capital that people.
Capitalism. Yeah, it's it's in the name. Capitalism. It's got flaws, but yeah, capitalism. That's
want to. Sorry.
You're kind of talking about the concept of like manufactured consent, kind of, right?
Yeah.
I think we need a better answer. Like, Republicans are able to push people into their belief systems. Some Democrats are able to push people into their belief systems. I think when your argument is that the entire world is rigged against us, the media is rigged against us, the corporations are rigged against us, our political system is rigged against us, our economic system is rigged against us, and international bodies are rigged against us. Well, at that point, it kind of sounds like whatever you're advocating for is hopeless. Like, if you can't get any sort of push or any sort of change without literally changing the entire world, then whatever political ideology you're talking about sounds like it should basically be left to the wayside, and you should pick something more moderate to kind of push people more in that direction. Like, arguably, the entire world really was poised against Donald Trump, but he managed to win in 2016. He didn't have the media on his side. He didn't even really have the Republican Party on his side. Even the other people that were running against him weren't even on his side until they had to start phone banking for him after he won the nomination.
Absolutely. Yes. 100% true. Oh man, that's crazy.
So yeah, I don't know. I think there's too many excuses made sometimes, because I think it's easy to point the finger at like everybody else, the media, the corporations, the money, whatever. But I mean, like we've seen, like Nina Turner just lost her second run, and you know, in her first run against her more moderate opponent, she outspent her 2-1, and these people were blaming like dark Jewish money for the reason why she wasn't able to win. Like at some point, I think you have to stop making excuses and realize, like, okay, maybe these set of policies aren't really where the American Overton window is at. We need to aim for something a bit more moderate, and then keep pushing leftwards from there.
I think that we're talking about all right, let's start with the Nina Turner case. I don't think
I'm not talking about that. I don't know about it, so I don't have any opinions on it, unfortunately.
generally people, sure, there are people who would say stuff like what you were claiming about dark Jewish buddy or whatever. I'm thinking that the majority of people are disillusioned with our economic system, and I think a lot of people don't participate with the system because of that. And in the case of Nina Turner versus Shondell Brown, it's like,
I mean, like when we say like disillusioned with our economic system, like what do we mean by that? Like,
I mean, we live in a system in which people, in which inequities in race, in gender, in the general inequities are just perpetuated within our systems, that people feel like that the system is built to perpetuate short-term individual gain. That's what this, and that we need to, as a society, not do that. We have to deal with climate change. Sure, you're saying that society's Overton window is such that people aren't this far left. Well, I'm telling people that the reality is climate change is an existential threat. We don't deal with climate change. We don't do these climate-based policies. Our species, the continued existence of society as we know it is under threat, and we cannot as humans conceptualize that well, and that's the purpose of these kind of why we need to at least push for these farther right or left policies.
Yeah, but I mean, like at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is like what can you actually achieve. You know, we could talk till we're blue in the face about how existential a threat is or something, but if you can't convince anybody else to take it seriously, then it doesn't really matter, right?
Yes,
so yeah, I mean, like when we talk about how like there are issues that exist in society today,
unfortunately, that is absolutely true. It sucks, but that's the way it is, man. People just don't give a shit. I mean, I do. If there was a group big enough, I don't know, dude. I don't like it. Whatever.
we agree there are inequalities that exist, there are racial problems, there are, you know, culture problems across the board for different things. But to say that, like, we need to usurp the entire economic system and replace it with a hypothetical one that we have no data for, that we don't know is going to do anything, like, it's a really, really, really big ask when we could instead continue to work on the problems that are in front of us now and then kind of make progress that way, I think.
Restate what you just said, sorry.
So if I have problems in front of me relating to, like, people getting paid not enough, I can either go the capitalist route and say, like, or the social democrat, be like, hey, maybe we can raise minimum wage, maybe we can strengthen unions. These are like a couple things that would do concrete good things for working class people that we know would do concrete good things for working class people. Mm-hmm. But the farther left thing is, well, no, we have to tear it all down and be socialist, or like workers need to own the companies.
I don't
and
think anyone actually is claiming that. I think the farther left isn't that. The farther left is exactly what you're claiming we should do, which is unions, which is $15 minimum wage. That's what the Green New Deal is. The Green New Deal is advocating for a set of policies around this aim. Mm-hmm. And that vision is the thing that we need to work towards, even if right now it is unpopular or isn't where people, just because people don't believe in this thing yet, doesn't mean we can ignore climate change as like an issue, because climate change is such an important problem that we have to do everything that we possibly can.
Yeah, sure, but again, remember that how important the problem actually is isn't really relevant. The relevant thing is how important can you convince people it is. And until you're able to do that, no matter how important the problem is, nobody's going to do anything about it, right?
But the only way you convince people of how important the problem is by talking to them about how important the problem is.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how long have I am 33. I've heard since I was a kid that in like 10 years, the ice caps are going to be melted and all the polar bears would be dead. And it hasn't happened yet, right? So it seems like we're doing a really bad job at convincing people, like, hey, this is a really important problem, whether it's because people are too hyperbolic, or whether it's because people are sometimes reluctant to lay out, like, real, achievable, measurable solutions towards the problems. Internationally, we have a big trouble with this because it's hard to get people like India and China on board as developing countries. They won't adhere to the same climate protocols that, other countries are supposed to. On a domestic level, it's hard because we're asking people to, either pay more for energy, or we're threatening the jobs of, like, union jobs at, like, fossil fuel plants. And then when we look to see like who's actually like leading the way in terms of making progress here, it seems to be companies like technology companies that are innovating on like solar energy or electric cars or whatever. I don't see the big success from like very far left people like demonizing everybody and saying that like everything is horrible, you guys need to do like these dramatic policy shifts right now, when I don't know, it just seems to be so ineffectual. I don't see much progress being made in that arena, I guess.
I think the only way you get people to realize how important these things are is by telling them how important they are. The claim that, and I'm sorry, but just because, can you say the last thing you said again?
Like when we look to see who's actually making progress in these areas, it seems to be like private companies that are doing like solar panel innovation, like tech companies that are working on like electric cars. Like those seem to be the big pushes that need support, that are doing a good job at actually like addressing these issues, rather than just screaming at the public to do something.
It seems like the system in place won't, with the incentives in place, will lead to humanity not being able to deal with this problem. The fact that companies are doing these things are important, but it's clear that those companies alone cannot properly incentivize the work into these things that we need, and like the research that needs to be done into these things, because those goals of those companies are fundamentally to make a profit and are focused on these short-term aims rather than the long-term goal that we need to all be focused on, which is saving our planet from like destruction.
Yeah, which is, I think this is what we use the government to kind of incentivize that behavior. So whether we're talking about,
It's Destiny debate. It's a debate between Destiny and some other kid. I don't know his name. Okay, it's just a random reaction. I've done others, but I haven't done one in a long time. So yeah, it's kind of nuts. And no one does either. No one else does, I get. Well, I just go all around the web. All around YouTube, and I have Markiplier, Destiny, Vosh. I listen to. I'm not necessarily a fan of Vosh, but I listen to him sometimes. And this is just someone I listen to often. Destiny.
like carbon taxes, or I think cap
Hope he doesn't copyright claim me.
and trade. One of these economists like, one of them they don't. But like, yeah, the government intervenes in the market. They provide more long-term incentives for companies to produce and research this type of technology. I mean, I see that working alongside the market and then working in our current structure seems to be a pretty effective way at like making progress addressing this issue.
But that's clearly not happening quick enough. That is
well, how do we
happening
know that?
now.
It's happening really quick. We're getting a lot of solar energy rolled out in the United States at a really positive way. Electric cars.
But at the rate of like increase that we are now, we won't deal with this problem if we every ton of CO2 that's emitted is a massive problem for us as a species, and we can't like process that. But we can't, with just these pure market-based incentives alone, we can't possibly have these companies that our goals are fundamentally to make profit incentivize the planet enough, right?
Yeah, but then what's the alternative?
The alternative is having government-funded initiatives.
Yeah, but we don't have the support for that, so.
Therefore, we shouldn't do it? No, therefore
we can't- yeah,
need
no,
to
well,
drum up
we
the
can't-
support for that, and that's why everyone watching, you need to support.
Alright, that's at least a 5-second lag. Damn. And I even have low latency on too. Ultra though, that's just low. Okay, well, how about I do that now? Oh wait. Oh, this is a webpage. I'll put the link in there. There's a link in the live chat. Oops. Never mind. Grab it, thing. Put it in the live chat. 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 There it is. There's the link. Oh wow. Look at this. No, that's cool. Alright, back to the video.
This thing, we need to all work together to make this thing a reality, because it might not happen today, and it won't. Like, these movements take a lot of time. If we look at the civil rights movement, we look at like these kind of social justice movements, they take a lot of time. The thing that Bernie Sanders started in 2016 is going to take some time to, and that ultimately has been done and is part of a movement that has been happening in the Democratic Party for a while. That like populist left movement is going to take a while to set hold, but it needs to, because the values that it is upholding and the things that it is supporting are fundamentally things that we need to do. And the claim is that just because people don't support it, the idea that people don't support it, therefore we shouldn't do this.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe I can. Hold on.
Thing that seems stupid, that
Well, we have to. We can only do with the people's support because we live in a democratic government, right? That's the whole point. So the goal is you have to drum up enough support for your thing to have it democratically passed. So we can look. The country's split pretty evenly right now between Democrats and Republicans. We know the Republicans are never getting on board with like a federal jobs guarantee and like the super green employees own stuff, and that's how we're gonna move forward.
Yeah, sorry, that was kind of loud. Oh, doing something. Uh-oh. I mean, I can go to my studio. It's not gonna. Oh, wow, maybe it will. Alright, Andesito, type something. I've got so live chat should work. I mean, I don't know. It's system live fuel. Okay. Cool. Can you hear my voice at least? I'm trying to get some. I'm getting this settled. Wow. Hold on. Here we go. I'll just put it in the description. There we go. Just did it now. There we go. Alright. Fuck. End abruptly.